Good evening, everyone. Had a few issues there just logging on, so I'm sorry if I'm a little late. So we're just waiting for Brice to join us. He is just finishing up with a customer. I'll send him I'm going to wait for him to come up. Hello. Yeah, so he's just finished up with a customer. I just had a message with him, just check he's still coming tonight. So yes, he is. So he'll be with us shortly. I have a little bit of a cough, as you can probably tell. Still got it from yesterday from my run. So just bear with me if I cough a little bit. Where is Mr. Dent King? He's on his way. We have to just hang fire, but I know he's definitely coming. So he'll be with us. Looking forward to it. Got loads of questions for him. A couple of you sent in some questions as well, so that's really great. Thank you so much for doing that. Let me send him a request. Brice. So I've not spoken to Brice before. And sent him a message, and he said yes, which was really good. And I found that that's kind of the way it's happening now. Is I'm speaking to people and they're willing to come on the show and chat to us all. So that's fantastic. For those of you who are here, I've got an announcement at the end that I want to share with you all. So if you could, instead of just switching off, just bear with me a few minutes at the end and I can announce what's happening. Well, actually, I've got two announcements. So yeah, bear with us on that, because that should be, I don't want to do it now. I'll do it at the end when we got more people. John, Dent is a whole different world, really. I see Adam come into my workshop and do it, and he's amazing what he does. And if I tried to do it, I'd be there for ages. So I think it's good to be multi-skilled, but sometimes you need to just know your limitations. And so that's what we do there. Sorry. Right. So he's not yet with us, but I know he's there because I've literally just spoken to him. So just bear with him, because if he's with a customer, we know what that's like. And it is 2 p.m. in Florida as well, so it's sort of the middle of their working day, really. That's the other thing, is when I talk to the guys in the States and Canada, and well, like yesterday with TJ in Hawaii, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, which is really, 9 o'clock has got to be one of the busiest times, especially for a jobber or somebody who owns a body shop supply place, because they've got to get those products out. They've got all the orders and people ringing up for paint and issues like TJ had. So for them to give us the time that they do is really great. Sorry about that. Really, something stuck in my throat there. So yeah, if you have any questions for me once we're just waiting for Brice to join us, you're more than welcome to send them over. I'm just shouldn't be any issues. I know he said he'd be with us at 2 o'clock, so I'm not worried about that. Right, well, actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you the announcement, one of the announcements. So next week, Rachel, Sunny, and myself are all going to do the review. So the way we can do this is by Zoom. So we can only take 100 people on the Zoom. So it's going to be first come, first serves. We'll send you a link, and then you can join us. And that way, all three of us can talk about it and discuss what we liked about the gun, what we didn't like about the gun from our own sort of skills perspective. So really, really looking forward to doing that. It's been quite tough to not answer some of your questions that have come through on it and be quiet, but all three of us have done it just to try and, it's fair, because then, I think it'll make the banter and the discussion. Okay, Brice has joined us. Brice, I'm just going to send you a friend request so you can join us. You should see it pop up on your screen in a moment. Okay, so there you go. You should see a little red icon on your screen. If you tap that, that should open up. Here we go.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing, Wayne?
Yeah, so good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh man, my pleasure, man.
Well,
I'm excited.
Are you? Because everyone is really excited to have you on there.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Well,
to hear that.
You seem to be, and I don't listen. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass or anything like that. But you seem to be an absolute god at Dent, and I didn't know about you until you popped up a few times on my LinkedIn page. But it was my Dent guy, Adam, who comes in, my friend and Dent guy, and he said, "Have you seen Brice Kelly's work?" And then I started to take more notice on it, and I thought, "Bloody hell, that's phenomenal! Some of the stuff you're doing."
Yeah, it's just a matter of me putting myself out of extreme comfort at all times. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. I know it's sounds ridiculous, but I just have a passion for making nothing into something, as you probably do as well. But I really enjoy the industry, man. It's just such a great time to be in the reconditioning industry. There's so many new things coming out. I'm just blown away by some of the stuff I'm even seeing from on your end, like some of the plastic welding and stuff. That blows my mind. So,
Oh wow, yeah, it is great some of the stuff that's out there, and there's more and more kits have been available. So look, there's a kind of sort of theme to my chat. So if I've got a few questions, if you don't mind me asking them.
sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So how did you get into the business, and what made you decide to do PDR work?
Well, what got me into the business is kind of a long story short. My father and I worked together. He owned a repair shop as an auto mechanic, and he would always have like these wholesalers bringing their cars into his shop to have them serviced and things like that. And a couple of times I watched a few Dent guys come in and perform repairs, and I was just intrigued. I was blown away that you could even do such a thing. And finally, I got in touch with one of the guys, and I asked him where he went to school and all this stuff, and told me about rightlook.com, which is like a detailing facility type, training. I guess training. I don't want to say mill, but it's definitely they pump them in, pump them out. So
Okay.
I basically did my research. I found Right Look to be the appropriate place to start, and I went out there to California, and in 1 week I learned PDR. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't 1 week. It was a 1 week course, but they just don't tell you that you're probably going to fail. So it's just a matter of they give you the fundamentals, and you go out there and you practice, and through repetition, somehow I got to where I'm at now. I think it had a lot to do with being exposed to the auction, and how that came about. Basically, was a gentleman found my business card, and when I was first starting out, I was desperate. I was hungry for work, and I was putting out flyers, business cards everywhere, and this gentleman found my business card in a puddle at a gas station. And I swear this is the truth. He tells me, he picks it up, he could barely read the number on it, and he gave me a call. He knew it said Dent Repair on it. He said, well, how busy are you? Can you come down now? And I said, I guess. I get there, and there's like 500 cars in a line.
Wow.
Apparently their Dent Repair technician that they had back in the day was just slacking, if you will, and just wasn't picking up the speed there that they needed, and I jumped in and swam. Realistically, is what it was.
Yeah, because you were hungry for it.
Oh God, I'm still hungry. I think that's the key. You have to remain hungry, at all times. But I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. So
nothing. You couldn't be tempted away. Living in sunny Florida.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a plethora of things, but there's just this fulfillment that you get from doing this type of work. I think it goes with any industry, but I just I don't know. I feel like this was my calling, I guess you could say, and I found it. Thank God. But
well, yeah, and I see. I'm going to jump ahead a few questions, but I see that you've also sort of started to offer training courses, because you've had a few guys on there and do testimonials.
Yeah, the training is actually something I've always wanted to do, because I was constantly getting hit up on Facebook and all these other platforms, and guys asking me if I'm ever going to be doing training, and I always said no, because I just wasn't ready. And yeah. I always wanted to. I didn't want to be the bad guy and tell them no, but I told them, just hang on. It'll happen eventually. And finally, it came to fruition here last year. I took on my first student. Now, they're mainly advanced courses. I was going to offer beginner courses, but I feel I just don't have, like, the business model that I have going right now currently doesn't allow that to happen, because I literally have to dedicate so much time and effort into that student, from one day all the way up to, 30 days. I was thinking about maybe a 4-week course if I was going to do a beginner course. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I found it to be a lot of guys were more like wanting the advanced stuff, advanced glue pulling techniques and just all different types of, new techniques that I've been, putting out there for a long time. And I just, I went with what the demand was basically. So, and that's what it was.
I can totally understand that, because I've got guys, sometimes they come to me and they say, look, can we do courses with you? And I turn around to them and I say, it's not that I don't want to do the courses. It's just that I don't want to, exactly like you, I don't want to do, this is how you sand down the panel, this is how you, so
Sure.
the beginner's process. I would much rather they learn that section. And then if they wanted to sort of hone it and fine tune it more,
Right.
and become better, then that's where their
Get
money.
To the highest level, right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's exactly what it is. Like literally, these guys are coming through, and I'm blown away by how good some of these guys are, and I'm like, are you sure you need me? And they're really good from the start. They just need that extra boost of confidence. Once I put them in front of a really damaged panel and kind of walk them through as they're going, they're like, man, I do have this, it's like a light bulb goes off, and just to watch that's so huge for me, to watch that happen. And I don't know, I'm kind of addicted to training now. I love it so much. So
I can understand that, because the couple of people that I've had come in, and in fact, I had somebody come into my place several years ago,
mm-hmm.
and he was sort of struggling. He was in a van. And he came in and he spent a day with me doing some plastic welding, and then he saw how my setup was. And literally, I spoke to him a couple of days later. He said, right, I've got a unit. I'm boarding it all up. I've come in off the road. And I couldn't believe how much he had turned in a week.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal. So it's just
you're helping people, man. That's what it is. I mean, you're helping people to get to the level that they want to get. And, it's a great feeling for sure.
Oh, definitely. So what does your average day sort of consist of? How do you go about it? Do you get people to send you photos of the jobs? Do you actually go out prior to doing a job?
Yeah, and you know what? That is how it goes. I mean, that's kind of frowned upon in the industry. I think a lot of guys don't think that's the way to do it. But to be honest with you, if you want to have it like a one-man setup, it is the most efficient way to do it. I basically, what I do is I rely on people sending me video rather than photo, because video really helps me get the angles and the pans that I need to see what's going on with the panel that's damaged. So yeah, they'll just basically, they might see my website and it says clearly, send a 20, 30-second video just walking by, pointing things out to me, and I can get you a relative price range, if you will. And the price range is broad. But,
yeah.
Like anything, if you're looking for a roofer to come and you don't know if it's, $100 or $10,000 to fix, you're at least getting an idea, So, and that really works well. It's a system that I've kind of implemented the last, 10 years, and it's worked really well. And I haven't had any complaints, so I'm going to stick to what works. So
no, and that's really good. I mean, I don't actually do quotes from videos or photos. Sure. I know Adam does, but the reason I do that is because they don't tend to. I can't see everything that's there, especially if there's broken parts.
I totally get that. Yeah.
So I get them to come by, but I do the same thing. I'll say, right, the price will be from 150 to 225 pounds, because just to accommodate for extra time, things that you just can't always count for, can you?
Absolutely, yeah. No, there are things that are hidden, and I express that. I basically have a text message it's pre-formatted, and you basically enter the price range, and I take their photos and I kind of implement them into a software that I use. It's an app, basically like a little drawing app, where I take their photo, I circle their damage, and I put my pricing guide with their damage, and basically circle what I'm seeing, the size, the factors that are involved, and basically that gives them a real visual. They say, oh, okay, yeah, it is about 2 inches, and it does have a body line involved, or things of that nature. And then I come up with the price range based on that. They're industry guidelines, which makes it legit, And when people see that, you put a little bit of extra effort into doing the estimate that way, and you spend 5 minutes with them on doing the estimate. It looks real professional, and they typically will, you know, I close about 25% of the stuff that comes through. I mean, I got a lot of volume coming through, thank God. But the fact of the matter is, not everybody wants to pay top dollar for a dent repair, and I get that. You know, I just have a different type of customer. That's all. You know, I fish for the customers that really do their research, and that's important to me. You know, that they understand the kind of value that they're going to get if they use my services. So, yeah. It's just that's the system basically that I have implemented right now. So,
and I can totally get that, because you can see the passion you have for your job and just the work that you take on through your
thanks.
videos. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
Thank you very much.
it is a whole different league. But so I can see why you just wouldn't. You are not fussy, but you want someone who appreciates what the time that you're going to put into it.
That's what it is. And you know, it's there's a whole grayscale of technician qualities out there, you know, like just in any business.
Yeah.
But, you know, I kind of position myself on the higher end because, let's face it, it's not easy, you know, what we do, you know, to make things look like they never happened. You know, it's an art, you know, and you have to be compensated for it, you know. So that could go with any, you know, as a painter, as a, you know, a paintless dent repair technician, a touch-up artist. There's a
body man.
Yeah, exactly. A body man. I mean, that is like an art, you know. So I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I watch like Jerry and Jack and a couple of other guys that are on here, and just some of the stuff that they're.
Man. I know.
Yeah.
I follow some of those some of their stuff, man. I'm just blown away by, you know, some of the stuff that I'm seeing like them do. It's almost like an old school way of doing things, but it's like they're bringing the art back into it, you know, and that's I just you don't see enough of that anymore, you know.
No, but I think I don't know how it is for you, but I think like with, and we talk about this quite a lot on here, on Instagram, LinkedIn, but I would say mainly Instagram, Facebook, Instagram. You see the guys doing it, especially now that they're actually making videos of the processes that they're going through.
Right.
And I think that sort of helps people realize, yeah, I could do that. I could be that much better. And
absolutely. Yeah, no, it really is like, it's about, you know, helping others, really. I mean, you do that and money will come, you know, that's the bottom line. It's like, no matter which way you look at it, just be the best that you can be at whatever it is that you do, and the money will come, you know?
Yeah. So some of the jobs that you do, I mean, are extreme, and we there's no denying that.
Yeah, they're a little ridiculous in some senses, yes.
So what makes you choose that? Is it the challenge or?
Exactly right. Yeah, it's I don't know. I wake up and I never want to be bored. So I could easily go out there and cherry pick and get all these little door dings all day and probably make more money.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but I love being able to kind of complete a really complex task at the end of the day and say I won, you know, and it's just being able to win at the end of the day. That's huge to me. You know, I fail a lot too. I mean, I fail just like anybody else. You know, there's times when I have to actually, you know, I'll spend 6 hours on a repair and I have to walk away with my tail between my legs. But that's part of the learning process. I'm constantly learning, you know. It doesn't matter, you know, if it's a simple repair. I may have learned something on a really simple repair I didn't know yesterday, you know, but for the most part, it is about like getting yourself out of the norm, the comfort zone, and trying to just complete these complex things every day that make you better, you know, ultimately. So. Oh
yeah, always pushing you. So that job you did on that Ford, how long did that take you? The white one, a couple of days ago.
The Ford Transit?
Yeah.
The Ford Transit was 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours, and I did that at a junkyard. Believe it or not. So I basically had a whole crowd watching me while I was repairing. It was crazy, but it was a retail job, and it was you know, I charge what it calls for in Mobile Tech RX, which is the software that I use. I measure it out, take all the factors that are considered in repairing it, and I come up with a number. And then, you know, this was a kind of an unfortunate situation where somebody's son was backing. The guy runs a mobile mechanic business, and he basically was parked in the guy's driveway. The son was trying to get out, and he backed right up into the van. And the mobile mechanic guy's like, man, listen, I can't be without my van for, whatever, a week or so. So he had me come out, and I fixed it. It was about 4.5 hours. Really tough repair, but I wanted to implement like a lot of the new. It's not even new. It's just, I guess, some of the different types of glue pulling techniques repairing that, and it worked out really well. So,
have you got a favorite glue or tabs that you like? A particular company?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna throw out some names here, man.
Yeah, good, because it's gonna help.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a good relationship with Charles Aoun with Cam Auto, Kiko. I use a lot of different products from Kiko. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. But more of the heavier collision stuff, I think it's I'm geared more towards like the Cam Auto equipment. It really is. It's just fantastic, and we're just scraping the surface of what can be possible with this stuff. It's just amazing. It like some of the glues and adhesives are just phenomenal. Like they work just as good as welding like a stud to a panel and pulling it. It blows my mind. Even when I'm using them and watching them work, it just blows my mind. So yeah, I use a lot of the Cam Auto stuff and a lot of the Kiko stuff as well.
So do you find yourself still when you get to a job, say just like an average job, if there is such a thing, do you find yourself going for your bars first or for the glues?
It really depends because the nature of every damage is different. So
yeah.
I tend to try to bulk up the damage as much as I can to create less time involved. With tooling, because initially you do want to get in there with some glue if you can, just to, like I said, bulk it up, get the meat of the damage up, and then assess it from there. If after that, typically we're doing some crown work, knocking down some crowns, and then just allowing the panel to stabilize before we get into tooling it. So, and stabilizing the panel can be done with tooling too. So ultimately, the best way to fix it is always going to be with a rod if you can, but glue pulling is just phenomenal. I mean, if you're not on the glue pulling train yet, you got to do it. It is absolutely essential in my business, at least. So.
But do you think that's been in the sort of last 3-4 years, maybe 5 years maximum, that glue pulling has started to really become the technology's improved, whereas before it was a bit sort of hit and miss?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the head. I started glue pulling back in, I think it was like 2004, maybe, is when I started initially glue pulling. I had like really rudimentary Amazon kit style dent repair kits. And I wasn't getting near the results I'm getting now because the technology has advanced so much, especially with some of Kiko's, some of their dead center tabs are just absolutely phenomenal. Because what they do is they actually, they go for the dead center of a dent, and basically, they're flexible. So they flex, so they stay on the panel just enough to where it's going to grip, and then pull that center up. And then it's mind blowing, some of the stuff that can be accomplished with their products too. So
I'm going to have a look at that.
But glue pulling is, I mean, you're starting to see some real innovation with the glue pulling. I think last maybe 3 years, I think, is realistic as far as like some of the bridge pullers and systems that are out there. So
yeah, there are some definitely really, and I guess that's just the advancement, like we were saying earlier, just the sort of different technology and the plastic welding and the glue pulling.
That
seems
blows
to be...
my mind. That plastic weld, I watch you do that, man. I'm like, I kind of want to do that because I think it's amazing. Like because I always wondered, like, man, I wonder if there's a way we can mend this instead of having to order something. And then, it's like, gosh, it really is. It's like watching art, man. It's really cool.
Well, thanks. That's my contribution to it, really.
Yeah, man. That's great.
But you did a dent job the other day. I mean, I love doing that. So when you've got a bumper in that's dented as well, that's probably the closest I ever get to doing like a dent repair like you do, because you can just
Yeah.
get that out, and yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's it's the nice thing about the plastics and the bumpers is that they're bendable. I mean, you can get them up to a certain temperature and mold them just like you would steel. Of course, it's a little bit more flimsy and stuff, but I mean, and you can't dial it in exactly on point like steel, but for the most part, I do quite a bit of bumper repairs out here, and like I said, I mend them just like I use my PDR light to kind of gauge where I'm tooling, and we can get them really close. I mean, I never guarantee perfection on a plastic bumper though. So
No, I mean it's quite difficult, but plastic does have a memory, which obviously helps as well.
right, it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
you would definitely be the man to speak on that though.
You're only on that subject, eh? Um, what what is it you love the most about your job, apart from
Oh
the
man,
satisfaction?
I think what I love most about it is is I mean, kind of just putting a smile on people's faces, man. Like that's really what it comes down to, the happiness of the customer in the end. Um, there's really not much. I mean, I get a lot of like joy out of taking something from nothing to something, and then, you know, I say, yeah, I did that. But just watching the customer, their reaction when you're done is just, I mean, that's to me, that's everything, and that's why I get up in the morning, so I can get up and do it again. It's kind of an addictive thing. So,
Are
but
you
that's
an
the thing
early?
about it. That's what it
Sorry,
is. Yep.
are you an early starter or have a lie
Yeah,
in bed?
I get up about 5 a.m. every morning, and I pretty much, like I said, I had that system in place where I get all these like text messages that come through, and then usually what I do is I acknowledge when they come through, and I tell the customer it'll be 24 hours before I get back to you,
Yeah.
because I am one man, so by design, um, but it allows me to keep my quality up, by doing it with one man, just being one man operation. So I wake up at 5 and I do that. I spend about maybe 45 to an hour just going through them and responding to everybody's text messages with price ranges. And, I get a few bites, customers calling back, asking to either like, let's do it right now. I've
Yeah.
already been to your website. I watched all your videos. Let's just do it. I mean, those are the ones you want, because I mean, let's face it, that's an ideal customer,
Yeah.
that's what you
Sure.
want coming in. So, but then again, I get a lot of tire kickers as well, people that just want to, get the cheapest bargain price, which I totally understand. Everybody wants to spend less money, but when it comes to this stuff, I think it's definitely you want to shop for the highest quality over quantity, so, but yeah, so I get up and I do that, and I'm usually out the door probably about, I don't know, 7:30 or so, and I'm at the customer's house at 8 typically. I usually start around 8:30 ish. Sometimes I bring the kids to school in the morning, but for the most part, yeah, pretty early riser.
And then what? Average day sort of finish early evening or?
Yeah, that's a real touchy thing, man. Like, I actually, my wife hates me sometimes because um, the nature of these repairs, sometimes you cannot put a time on it, and you're
No.
sitting there with a customer and you're telling them, just give me like another 2 hours maybe. And then it turns into, can I have another half hour or another 15 minutes? You're trying to get it done. You don't want to have to go back,
No.
because being mobile is great, but it's all about efficiency. And, I typically will stay until it's done. And I have a really, I'm just real picky about my work, and I cannot let something go if I don't give it my approval rating at the end. Like it's got to be QC'd by myself. So
Well, it's your credibility on the line, isn't it?
every job is,
Yeah.
and listen, every customer is different. Not every customer wants 100%, and I do cater to customers' needs. Like I did a fender for somebody like 2-3 weeks ago. And, the idea behind it was, it was a 2008. They didn't want to spend a ton of money, but, they wanted to get it to a certain level to where it didn't look like an accident, which...
Is that the black one? The black or dark blue one with a little scratch in it?
Yeah, it definitely had a scratch, yes.
Yeah, okay, I think
Big,
so. I saw
nasty dent.
Yeah.
And I met their expectation. It was an expensive repair in the end, but it wasn't as expensive as full replacement cost and, replacement bumper and all this stuff. And the fender was literally sitting on top of the hood. Or I'm sorry, the hood was sitting on top of the fender. It was pushed in that far. And, I can see, nobody wants to drive around with that. It's fully cosmetic. There's no structural stuff.
Yeah.
And I met their needs. Like I priced it normally like I would in Mobile Tech RX, and it was like crazy number, and then I said, listen, I know what you're looking for. I can deliver on that, and I have you out of here in it was about an 8-hour repair or something like that. Same day. But then again, it really comes down to, just making customers happy, so.
I mean, the time that you spend there, I'm not sure how well that would work in this country, because I don't think that there's many customers around that would be willing to. They'd just say, "Oh, we'll just put it in the shop and get a new wing on there." Or a smart repair.
And I totally get that. Now, a lot of my customers, they are in it for the convenience factor. They want the mobile service, and I've always wanted to shop, but what keeps pulling me back to being mobile is I get a lot of business by being mobile.
Yeah.
So, and that's what people want. They want convenience. They don't want to leave their car somewhere for 2 to 3 weeks at times, or a week or whatever it is. They just don't want to do that. Especially with the whole COVID thing, it was really hard for people to leave their houses. I mean, I was busier than I could ever have been during COVID. Because of that, I was able to go and get the work, and I would go to people's houses. So
yeah,
it's just, I don't know, it keeps pulling me back. I want to stay mobile and keep that convenience factor at their disposal.
Well, I got to be honest with you. If I was in your shoes, I'd stay mobile. You don't have the overheads. You don't have to worry about any security in the shop or anything like that. You can just go to the job, do it there, and then walk away. That's it. Close your your van door up.
And there's this thing about, guys that think that you can't do these types of repairs at a customer's location. When, I mean, I could literally take a stick, sharpen it, and use it as a tap down, and take a tree trunk, shave it down, and make it into a hammer and get the same result. So yeah, it really is just about being as efficient as you can with what you have. It's just what it comes down to when it comes to being mobile. So
absolutely. So now talking about tools, not as rustic as your caveman tools you just mentioned there, but what are your 2 favorite tools, or your sort of go-to tool? Do you have one?
Yeah, I think my favorite tool would have to be, well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but I know it sounds kind of cliche from a PDR standpoint, but my light, I think, is my favorite tool, because it's what really allows me to dial in these repairs, along with natural reflection, so I've got an ultra, like a 4-foot LED that I use, and I absolutely love it. Use it every day. And then I also have, Stanliner tools. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand, but
no, but I see you commented on it. Yeah,
it is. They are by far the cream of the crop as far as paintless dent repair tools are concerned. You have a guy that's actually handcrafting these tools, forging them, and just the way, and he's a PDR technician, probably one of the best in the world, if you ask me. His name is Kazimierz, and he's basically in his shop making these tools by hand, and he knows what we need as PDR technicians, and it shows, because when I get the tool, I'm like, man, that is exactly how I want it, or that is the perfect push, So I know I'm kind of nerding out on you here, but
no. This is what we want to hear.
Yeah, no, it's just, those tools I think have made my life a lot easier over the years using those tools. It's just I think for beginners too, that are guys that are looking to get into the business, and feel that they're comfortable at least fixing a smaller dent. I would, if you're starting out, get the whole set of Stanliner tools. They're expensive, but man, they are going to last you the life of your career, and they're going to give you the best quality as far as the pushing that you're going to get, the push that you get when it contacts the steel. So,
well, yeah, and I mean, when you've got your bars, that's it. They're there, aren't they? It's not something
yeah.
that is going to run out like a consumable. And in fact, actually, one of my questions was about your light. So,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. I was going to ask you about that because I see you use it a lot, and I know there's probably some guys out there that are interested in it. So, if you can give us any more details on that, that's and sort of why you chose that particular model.
Yeah. And there are a plethora of lights out there. I think this particular one, I think is just very affordable. For one, I didn't really get it because it was so affordable. I just got it because I trust the brand Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra has a really good name in the industry. Their
Yeah.
tools are top of the line. And I've heard really good things about longevity with that brand as far as the light's concerned. And it's lasted, I've had it for about 5 years now, no issues. As opposed to some of the other brands that are out there. There are a lot of good ones, but I've heard some problematic things with others. So that's one of the reasons why I got that light, Ultra.
And that's like Ultra Dent, they're also called, aren't they?
Ultra Dent tools, yep.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of pushback from guys telling me that I need to get this light and this light, but I don't know. I gravitated towards this one because I heard really good things about it, and I have a lot of. I actually train with this light, and a lot of guys tell me how much they like it. So I think if anybody, as a beginner, if you're getting into PDR, this is a great. It's a great light. Even if you're just doing, glue pulling and to use it as a reference, and you're not getting into PDR fully, I think that's a great light to implement for sure.
Well,
I think it's like $600, and you get the stand and the light, and you can have it to where it's DeWalt battery pack capable, or Makita or Milwaukee, and you just get a 6 amp hour battery, and you just plug it in and go. It's done. It's cordless. It's nice.
Yeah, that's a beauty actually with a lot of the stuff now being cordless,
Now,
especially if you're out on a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want the ultimate, like, high dollar light
Go on.
setup, probably a Stuckey light.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Look it up. It's Carl Stuckey. His light is actually, the battery is kind of embedded in the back side of the light. This thing it's beautiful for one. Not that it has to be, but it's just beautiful. It's on a you can get it to where it's on a pivot ball, and it's a magnetic ball. So this thing is like it got no wires anywhere. So you just plug a battery in on the backside. It has a light and a stand, and you roll it around, and it is probably the cream of the crop. If you're looking to get like real top of the line, that's the one to get. So
Have you got that one?
I don't, but I hear nothing but amazing things.
It'll be on your Christmas list.
Brand. I'm going to.
So, do you know what? Time is absolutely flying by, Brice. And I've got so many questions for you, and there's quite a few questions.
How long have we been on, man?
Like 40 minutes. Yeah, so, and I've got a load of questions from followers as well. But let's try and get through a couple of these. So, what's your most memorable job, and what's the job that you would like to have forgotten the quickest?
Yeah. Okay, that's a great question. I know my most memorable job would be the Dodge Challenger that I did. It was a left rear quarter panel on a Dodge Challenger. I'll never forget it. When the customer sent me the pictures and the video, I was like, there is no way I can help this guy out. But I figured out this was a repeat customer of mine.
Right.
When we started chatting. And,
so a little bit of pressure there.
A little bit of pressure. I wowed him in the beginning. I want to wow him again if I can. So I took a dive, and I drove all the way out to Ocala, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away from me. And I didn't even know what I was really getting into. I saw the video, and I said, man, I don't know about that. So I got there, looked at it, and I said, well, let me give it a shot. I priced it literally through the roof. It was very high, but it wasn't anywhere near like replacement on a quarter panel or anything like that. But it was definitely like it was up there. So
And paint was original, so
original
it's
paint. There
bonus.
was
Yeah.
no paint fractures anywhere. The wheelhouse was intact, and you'll see it if you go to the page there. It's like somebody took a sledgehammer and they whacked it into this right on the wheel arch on the rear quarter panel. So
Yeah.
it pushed it all the way in. And it was folded. And I basically had to figure out, I mean, I said to myself, man, if the paint's not damaged and I can maybe like just put a lot of heat on this panel, get the paint to a nice malleable temperature, I can actually move this thing and reverse it with some hydraulics that I use. And I was thinking out of the box at every cost there. And I came up with that, and it actually moved it to where I got the panel shaped back. I surprised myself, and I turned it into a full YouTube video, and it's like a 15-minute long YouTube video. It's been up there for a year or two, and pretty good response on it. And I don't know, I just kind of like remember that as being literally the most challenging repair. Did I say challenge? It was a challenger, and I said challenge. So, no pun intended, but that was a dad joke, by the way. So I'm a dad, so.
That's all right.
No, either way, I got it out, and the customer was just, I don't know, he was floored. He wanted to he was going to trade the car in, but now he wanted to keep it. It came out that well.
Well, he's got a good story to go with it as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the most memorable one, and the one that I want to forget the most, I think was, man, this is when I was first starting out, and this is, okay. I don't even know if I should say this or not, but...
Oh, go on. You're committed now.
This is kind of juicy. I'll give you this one. All right. So the guy sends me some photos. I look at it. I say, yes, I can do something with it. This is probably, I've been doing this 17 years. This is about maybe 5 years in.
Okay.
And it was pretty severe. Rear quarter panel damage on a Chevy Camaro SS. And... still somewhat green I am as a technician, but I wanted the challenge. So he basically, we met, like he was far away. He was like 3 hours away. So we agreed to meet at a location that was kind of convenient for both of us. And I go there, his wife gets out, we all shake hands, and like, this is the damage. I start fixing it. He goes into like Home Depot. It sounds so shady that I did this in a Home Depot parking lot, but this is back in the day, man. This is when I was first starting out. And I get about like, let's say an hour into it, and I realize, man, this is not working out. I'm literally pushing on this. I'm locking the steel up where, if anybody doesn't know what locking metal up is, it's just basically where you push on an area and there's not enough tension on the outside of the panel for it to flow back the way it should. So it just kind of caves in on itself and it makes more damage. So I locked up this panel and I'm like, I got to stop, and I started working on it a little bit more, and I was going to just call him and say, listen, you got to take your car. We're done. I want to just wipe my hands free of this. I'm done. So before I called him, I said, man, you know what? Let me give this one last go. See if I can do it. So I spend like another 2 hours on this thing. And I try to get it as close as I can, and it looks a lot better. I mean, it's not a huge dent anymore. It's just better. And but it looked like SHIT. And right. I just basically, I didn't know what to do. So I called the customer out. He comes out. The wife is walking ahead of him. She comes around the corner. She's like, oh, my God, it looks amazing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he comes out. He's like, oh, man, what happened here? And I'm like, oh. So there goes my, ability to charge anything out the window. And he's just, he was not happy. Let's put it that way. So I basically just told him, I said, listen, man, I don't want anything to do with this. I want to wipe my hands clean of it. I didn't, the car wasn't damaged in the process. I mean, factory paint was still intact. He just essentially needed to take it to a body shop. That's what needed to happen. So the car was unaltered in any way, just
improved. In fact, you've probably helped the body shop out.
You know, I think I might have, yeah, because he was talking about how they were going to replace the quarter on it. It was like literally folded in pretty good, and but yeah, I mean that's just one of the failures that I'd love to just not remember. You know, I don't want to remember that. So,
Well, thank you for sharing that memory you don't want to share.
yeah, no
Right.
problem.
Let's
I
get
think
some
you're the only people I've ever told, though. However many people that you have following here.
37 people with, well, I don't know
That's
how many
good.
watch after this. So let's ask some of the questions that came through to me for you. Is one's from panel beta NE, so I guess he's in the Netherlands. You need to ask him if he uses magic. Surely he does for sure. So I think that's a compliment
Magic.
one.
I
Um,
think the magic is just being able to stay the course, just thinking that you're going to get past the humps and just kind of it's called, you know what it is, the magic comes from zero options. So you put that in your head, it's a zero option mentality. You have to fix this or else
I know.
your family's being held hostage right now. Now, what are you going to do to get them out? You have to fix this right now. That's basically what it comes down to. So
I think I don't know how this might not make any sense to you, but in my shop, so if I've got something come in and it's got a dent on it, and say like a dent mat. So if you can't do the dent, you've improved it. Like that guy, you've improved it. It's not worse, it's better. Whereas if it comes into my shop and we start on that job, and I start on that job and I've sanded it, that is it. I am committed. I have to finish that job.
absolutely right.
And so there's no like, oh well, I'm sorry, I can't. Although I do that sometimes. If there's things that I can't see and it's beyond me, I have
Yeah,
to like I had a wheel arch that was just rusted out and it needed a new one. But I mean, it came in a mess anyway.
right.
But yeah, there are sometimes you just can't like,
Absolutely.
it's a
I can,
mess. Right.
yeah, we can relate. Yeah, absolutely.
So we answered this question. Somebody asked, do you do training? Yes, you do, but you'll have to go to the States for that. Um,
Yeah, it's you know, you have to remember I'm running a business, you know, and kind of incorporating the training in little pockets. You know, I will dedicate the entire week to the trainee, but we're going to be actually implementing, you know, going to customers' houses,
yeah.
watching transactions go down, working on real cars at wholesale lots. If anything, I have one dealer that I do, and I keep them around for that purpose. You know, just to kind of keep me on my toes. You know, to kind of test myself every once in a while,
Yeah.
and also like bring the trainees in to use that at my disposal. So
Well, that's fair. Um, Someone asked about money, but I don't think that's something that I'd like to discuss on here. So that's another question is, which dent guys do you look up to? That's quite a good question.
absolutely, yeah, no,
Obviously,
I
there's the
mean,
guy that you just mentioned that makes the tools,
yeah, Kazimieris,
Kazimierz.
Stanliner, yeah, he's out of Lithuania, and he doesn't. I mean, he's probably approaching 70 years old, so you know, he doesn't really post much on social media, but he's definitely somebody that I look up to. I still do to this day. Um, there's there are guys that make me look like a novice, you know, out in like the Middle East. Some just unbelievable repairs out of the Middle East. I don't even really know their names, but I can tell you that, you know, if you just go online and search like painless dent repair, you know, like Iran or Saudi Arabia and that particular area there's some just amazing metal manipulators out there that just go unknown, you know, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. Um, Guy in Brazil, um, by the name of Giddes Arlson. He is just absolutely outstanding. Bringing metal back to its, I mean, when I say factory, I mean like just glass, you know, stuff that you would think, you know, I mean, stuff that I would repair, but he has like the ability to take it to like, I don't know if it's, I mean, I don't want to like take anything away from the guy, because I mean, he spends a lot of time on the repairs, because that's ultimately what it is. I mean, if you put 20, 30 hours into something, it's going to look pretty damn amazing, you know. But
Yeah.
as a mobile technician, I mean, I try to do my best with what I have. I mean, I'll spend 12 hours at a customer's house if I have to, you know, getting them to a certain level. But this guy really is special. He's got something very special. So,
But you know what it also
um,
is about that? Because there's a guy that I follow in Iran as well. And where they don't have the tools that we have, or,
right.
when a hair, because he'll fix a plastic hair dryer. And it's like, here, we would just throw that away and buy a new one. But they
Absolutely.
fix it and he makes it look like new. And so I guess if you
Yeah.
don't have that ability or the funds to buy something like that,
Sure.
you make,
Makes
that's
total
the old
sense.
fashioned way.
Makes total sense. Yeah, it is the old-fashioned way. And you don't see enough of that anymore. I mean, there are panels that probably should not be worked on for safety
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I think that there are some things that, I mean, they may not have the same laws in practice over there, obviously, but when it comes to uh, consumer safety, I'm a big proponent. I really believe in trying to keep cars that shouldn't be worked on from being worked on. So
Yeah. But I think some of those places you only have to look at some of the cars or the driving and what's on the road. I don't think safety is always paramount
yeah,
in there. Getting the
no,
car
it's
looking
not.
good.
It's not.
Um,
Yeah,
so a couple of more questions because I can't believe we're running out of time now. So didn't mean to send a question. Oh, okay, that's a mental epic. I used to be a body guy before PDR tech, but everybody guys should get onto glue pulling. Okay, so that wasn't really a question. That was sort of just saying what you were saying, literally
yeah,
reiterating that glue pulling is a big thing now. So I've got two more questions for you, if you don't mind, which we should
yeah.
be able to fit in 7 minutes because we
Sure,
get cut
man.
off
Yeah.
if we get cut off if not.
I'm
What?
between jobs, so we're good. I mean, I spaced it just right. So
Okay, no, but I've only got an hour. We're only allowed an hour on Insta, and then they cut us off on live.
sure,
So,
yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah.
so my question to you is, what do you like to do in your downtime?
Um, I actually enjoy making music. I um, I have like kind of a passion. That was my first passion was um, electronic music. I actually have a few albums, believe it or not. In Spain, there's a record label that has a couple of my albums out there, and the UK. So yeah, check them out. I mean, I'm on Spotify, iTunes, and
Really?
things like that. Yeah, yeah. You can download. Just type my name in there, and it'll come up.
What
But
Brice? What
it's
kind of
probably
music is it?
nothing that was that.
What kind of music is it?
Do you know who Kraftwerk is?
Yeah. Like
Okay,
electronic. Yeah.
it's electronic. It's kind of like a electro, dark electro. It's like something that I don't know why I gravitate to, but I've always had a kind of a passion for it. I love it, and machine music, if you will, but it's not for everybody. That's for certain.
Okay.
But I enjoy doing it. So
So just type in Brice Kelly into Spotify and we'll find you.
oh yeah, yeah, it'll come. I have a few albums. I released an album in the States last year through Monotone Music, and it's on. Yeah, you should be able to. It'll come up on iTunes if you just type Brice Kelly or Monotone or Fragile Recordings. There's a few record labels here in the States. So
All right, we're going to do that. So finally, my last question for you, Brice,
sure.
and actually we'll come over to this in a minute, but my last question for you is, if you were, oh, actually I had two questions. Have
Go
you
ahead.
ever, yeah, have you ever, this is a daft question, but a question that interests me. So have you, living in Florida, ever had any close encounters with alligators?
That's a good question. I never had any close encounters. Now I have been to some of the parks like Gatorland and things like that, but like out in the wild encounters, probably not. I will tell you, I see them on a daily basis though, because
So you,
I cross the Lake Jessup Bridge every day. Pretty much, it's a it's a lake that's notorious. It's got probably the most gators anywhere in the world,
right.
and they literally they're right, like you look on the bridge as you're driving, and you look to the right or left, and they're sitting there just floating all around. So it's
So
pretty crazy.
you haven't been doing a dent job and turned around to pick up a bar and there's a gator just
Oh
sitting there
yeah,
sitting.
that's actually, man, that has crossed my mind in a few instances. Like I've been in some pretty shady trailer parks, if you will, to where there was like a pond or something, and like I'm working, like I'm like with my head over, yeah, I'm looking back. So. But yeah, I never had any close encounters though.
Okay. My last question for you then, Brice, is you've given us loads of sort of tips and advices, but do you have one tip that you could leave us with?
Oh man, if I had to give you one tip, if you're if you're new and you're trying to get into PDR, I think now is probably the best time to get in. I mean, it's more than ever because you have all these things that are available to you that I didn't have when I was first getting in. You know, like all these video platforms that are awesome. You know, like Dent Trainer. You've got Jim Mitchell has Real World PDR. You check that out. It's just really good stuff to get going and, you know, challenge yourself. Like, you think you can't do something, but just go out and try it. And if it's not for you, it doesn't pan out, go to the next big thing. You know, it's just, you know, never give up on anything that you try and push yourself always. I mean, and challenge yourself. That's all it comes down to. And it will keep things interesting for you. You know, if you're not trying to be the best in the world at something, why are you doing it? Right? Why are you doing it? You know, so that's
and love your job. And absolutely love your job.
You gotta be passionate, you gotta love your job. So
Brice, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this and fit us all in. And I'd also like to say, you know, can we touch base in about 6 months' time for a catch up?
I would love to, man. It's been an honor. Honestly, it's my pleasure to be on this with you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're a star. I look forward to seeing more of your work, and thank you so much for putting the time aside.
Awesome. Thanks again, Wayne.
I'll save this, hopefully, quickly, and then it'll be on YouTube. I'll send you a link and everything, and I'm going to check you out on iTunes as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, all the best.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, well, yeah, what a top bloke. Another one. I mean, we get to talk to so many really good people on here. So, really pleased with that. So, coming up next week, I just want to share this all with you. It's another busy week for me next week. On Tuesday, I normally do my surprise guest, but it's not going to be a surprise next week. I'm actually going to tell you who it is. So, and the reason I'm doing that is because he's actually offered to do a little giveaway, which was really nice. So next week's guest is on Tuesday night is Jeff from Dent. We've probably all seen them pop up on here. They make some really great tools. I'm looking forward to talking to him. And he's offered a little giveaway for the best question that's put forward for him. So I'm going to, 24 hours before he comes up, so on the Monday evening, I will upload probably about 7:30, so it overlaps with the actual show. I will upload the information and a little thing where you can ask him the question. And the best question that he feels is the best question will win something. I'm not quite sure what it is he's going to give away, but that's, you know, he offered to do it, and I had to take him up on it because that's a really good offer. On Wednesday, Rach and Sunny and myself are going to do the review on the new 3M performance gun that we've all been testing. So looking forward to that. That is by invite. So it'll be on Zoom. It won't be on Instagram. It'll be on Zoom. So I will send you a link if you're interested. Please DM me, and I'll keep you guys updated on that anyway. And on Thursday, we have Shake from Guns and Hoses. So a full-on week next week, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I've got to go so I don't lose this video live feed, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.